So as they go on now to secondary school, right? As they go on to secondary school, what do you think are important then for their development? Of course, sleep, I'm sure, will still be important. Management of screen time will still be important, although probably more challenging at the time.
Yes, yeah. I think secondary is a different set of challenges. It's more about their autonomy.
Yes.
It's really hard to tell a secondary school and, you know, my 16-year-old what to do and what not to do. What do you hope is by 16 years of age, she would have imbibed some of the values we've been trying to share with her.
Yes.
And giving her the choices. If you do this, and there are certain consequences for this and that, and you have to sort of figure some of these out. And giving her room to make mistakes and not coming down too hard on those mistakes.
Absolutely.
We learned it the hard way. When she was quite young, in fact, when she was in primary, my husband was coming down quite hard on mistakes that which she would make that, you know, primary school children would make, because he had expectations about her behavior, and he would come down so hard. And my older one's a little bit active, so she couldn't, you know, she was very fidgety and would forget things and then misplace things, and he would get really upset and would come down really hard. And I never used to intervene until I saw her develop tics. From getting so anxious about my husband being hard with her, she developed a vocal tic, like, you know, voice clearing. And one day after one of these episodes where he sort of came down really hard on her and she was like ticking away, sort of pulled him aside. And I said to him, honey, I think you either need to attend an exorcism or I need to get you to see a counselor. You can choose. Because I think if you continue along this path, our daughter is going to end up at INH with severe anxiety issues. So he chose the latter path, and he booked himself in to see a really lovely psychologist by the name of Harold Wilbers, and really was a godsend, because Harold shared with my husband, a framework of looking at children, which we continue to use to this day. And it's so valuable that I want to share with you.
Sure,
John.
Sure.
And this is the framework. He said, do you want growth or do you have expectations? Because these are two really contrarian things. And if you have expectations on your child, it's pass or fail. They can't do both. They either pass and meet your expectations, or they fail and they don't meet your expectations. But with a growth mindset for your child, everything is about growth. So if they made a mistake, they can learn from it, and that's about growth. And if they did well, good. They will grow and they'll learn from it. So that meant that when my husband and I would look at our older child make mistakes, we'd say, well, she'll learn from the mistake. And we don't have to come down so hard because it's all part of her growth. And we don't expect that she'll learn it now, but eventually she'll learn it. And that transformed my husband's relationship with my older daughter.
Wonderful.
My husband used to take her to tennis and teach her, like, play tennis with her. And she used to hate it because he would have expectations and would try and coach her. Then she would pull a long face and then sulk, and then he'd get really upset. But after that shifted, and he'd say, okay, well, this is all part of her growth and learning how to regulate her emotions as she's playing tennis, it transformed. So then she would then see that, okay, he's not so upset now, and I'm going to try harder.
Right.
And so it took a few years, but now they really look forward to their regular tennis matches, and it's fun now with her. She plays with a grandfather, she plays with a sibling, she plays with my husband. But that transformed things for her, to go from an expectations mindset to a growth mindset. So in a growth mindset, your child can never fail because it's all about their growth. And so I think that's the thing for the teens also, particularly for teenage years. It's all about their growth.
Yes.